couple people are having issues transferring weights to 2K22 for their ports. And this video is sort of just teaching you how to do that. Only the transferring weights part, nothing else. Because I have a course coming for everything else on Patreon in the future. I'm feeling a little stuffy today, so I'll be sniffling a bit too. So basically, I have Enzo here from 2K18. I exported him as OBJs using X-ray and then assigned materials to every object here. So I got its textures, everything. For transferring weights is actually pretty important to have a material assigned. You'll see why later. But you don't need to have the texture if you don't want it, as long as you just have the material, that's fine. So I'm just gonna reassign. So now that I have Enzo here, I'm gonna import a 2K22 MDL to John Cena. And then if you look, John Cena's here and they line up nearly perfectly. So what we'll need to do is grab all of Enzo's objects and pull them back on the y-axis just a bit to line up the fingers better. But everything else is seemingly lined up. So what next is, I'm going to make a new folder here, call it export, so I know all the objects we're going to get rid of. Export. And I'll separate the base model and the gear, so I know which to export for which. So for Enzo's body, eye caruncle, head, that will go in base model, rest will go in gear. And then we'll take John Cena's skeleton, throw it in here as well. That's what it looks like for now. Next, you have to take John Cena's body model, which will sometimes import as default material, rename it or whatever, and take his head model and combine them. This is so we get the smooth weights here, and they're not separated by a seam. We can just transfer them as smooth as they appear here. Joined. And then we actually don't need any of these. So what's next is we're going to start transferring it to Enzo. So I'm going to actually select all of Enzo's objects and hit Control A, all transforms, resetting the scale and location. Then I'm going to take the body of John Cena, remerged, select the body of Enzo, and Control Tab, weight paint, transfer weights, and then open up this menu here. Go to nearest edge, source layers by name, and that's all. Now what you can do is you can press slash on your numpad to hide everything but the current object. Unhide Enzo here. Go weight paint mode, shift right click, and then it'll show you what that area is rigged to, and that is not correct. So let's oh, that's why. My OBJs had poly groups they created themselves. I'm just gonna delete all groups here. All groups. Delete all groups. And then I'm just gonna do that transfer again. Select John Cena. Select Enzo's body, weight paint. And what you can do is you can right click and click add to quick favorites. So when you press Q, it appears right here. The settings will save as long as your project is open. Now let's check the weights again. So what you want to do is just check the legs and make sure there is no overlap between the legs. So you see red here, you might sometimes end up with a little thing like that. Get rid of that. But it looks good. Now we transfer the John Cena weights, Enzo's head, Q, transfer weights, they all appear here. And if you go into weight paint mode, you see J head selected, and it's got his whole head. And then now what we do is we actually get rid of John Cena by just turning off his collection. And then we transfer the weights now for everything from Enzo. So we'll take the eyes. Actually, the eyes come from John Cena, the eye weights. So let's select two eyes. You can see they're off base. So that may end up with popping eyes in the game. If that does happen, weight it to the head. But if it doesn't happen, we're going to try it first normally. So select John Cena's eyes, like Enzo's eyes, transfer weights. Then turn off John Cena again. And then this eye caruncle will be from Enzo's head, so select the head, the caruncle, transfer weights. Now for the clothes. I'm gonna go one at a time. For the clothes though, you see for example this outfit touches his head mesh and his body mesh. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select the head and the body and select Control J to join them. And now we're to smooth out like we did John Cena. Now we're gonna select the outfit, weight paint, transfer weights. And if you can see, the chest is now smooth. We got the neck on there, and it's all good. So I'm gonna hide that, it's done. Chain, chain, weight paint, transfer weights. Chest, you can see. Hide, hide the chain. Then we'll go the rings, transfer weights, ring finger. See, it's rigged there. Left wrist, so transfer weights. Elbow, you can see it's rigged there. Piercing, same thing. So it, as you can see, becomes quick when you have it on that quick favorites list, because the settings save every time. Shoot. Socks are done. Did the ring. And now for the beard. The beards need shape keys, and that's a whole nother video, but if you just want the beard and your model has no facial animations, same thing. Transfer the weights. And you might end up with that. Instead, what you want to do, like you see the beard here is actually rigged a bit to the neck, and kind of don't want that. So what we'll do is back into object mode, delete all groups, make a group itself, J head, go into edit mode by tabbing, A to control all, A to select all, see? And then just hit assign, go into weight paint mode, and you see it's all red. So we'll probably just do that for the hair too. But actually, if you want this braid sort of fake bend, you can transfer the waist and you'll bend with the neck and the chest. So why don't we just do that? And if you see here, chest. So and then so bends down, the braid will be sort of glued to his back here. Or you could delete all groups. J head, edit mode, edit mode, sign. So now it's all in the head. So when Enzo bends his head over, the braid will stay like with the head and not be glued to his back. It's up to you. You can't get physics on what kind of style you want to go for. And then now that those two are done, the bottoms here, that's the tricky thing because you only have two legs and there's no bone here in the middle, and 2K did the same thing. In 18 they rigged this so it splits between both ends. Kinda complicated. Um, so let's transfer the weights. Uh, so doing a check, you can see it kinda splits evenly perfectly here. And your job as a modder is to check in game, see if that's the best case scenario, and if not, you can like smooth out the weights a bit, something like that. See if that helps. It's going to do a smooth on all group. That might have ruined it, sure. So Control Z that. So now all of Enzo's objects should be weighted, but now we just need to select them all, drag them, hold shift, hold alt, and drag them into the skeleton. Do the same with these. And now what we need to do is go to our combined head, base, and body, go into edit mode, Control A, P, split by material, and now it is that head and body split again. That's why I said assigning materials is a smart thing to do when you're making mods in Blender. And next we need to assign the armature. So just applying armature modifier on every object and assign it accordingly. You should only have one skeleton in your scene if you used OBJs for your base model import. But if you imported an FBX with armature or something, make sure you're selecting the 2K skeleton. You can rename it like John Cena scale. So now when I apply the armature, it says John Cena. And that's pretty much all there is to it. After this, you just rename your objects accordingly. If you're a modder, you know how. Like I said, this video is just for teaching the transferring weights. And then pretty much it. You just export and it should work in game. So once again, buying all the armatures. And then once for the hell of it, I'm going to apply transform once again.